Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 88 of my Gateway Experience. Thank you so much for tuning in. The purpose of these videos is to document my journey through the Monroe Institute's Gateway Experience. I call the Gateway Experience a scientific, repeatable process of self discovery, self exploration, and ultimately self mastery or self actualization. Those are pretty much the same thing. So it consists of 6 waves with 6 tapes in each wave, and we're currently on the second wave, and the fifth tape of that wave called Energy Bar Tool. Today will be the fifth day doing this tape. If you haven't seen any of my other videos, go ahead and check those out. That way you can get caught up to speed with where we started and where we are now. So let's get straight into it. Episode 88. Right now it is November 20th, 2022. It is exactly 10:30 a.m. Woke up this morning at pretty much exactly 8:30 a.m. when I went to look at my phone. That's what it said. And obviously that's much later than usual. So pretty late getting to sit down and everything. I will say I'm glad that. Oh, and by the way, today is a Sunday, so I forgot to mention that. But I am glad that I did sleep in. It's kind of a bittersweet thing, you know. My brain is working much better. I got a full rest. Went to sleep last night at like pretty much 9:30, so more than enough rest. The only downside is that I do lose my momentum, and I've got to build it back up to wake up at 5 again on a consistent basis. And so, it is what it is. But it is definitely, I feel great. I feel like I have a better perspective on life. I feel like I'm much more aware and present in the moment, which was the reason why I stayed in bed. I felt like I needed to be more present. So, yeah, went ahead and did that. And after I woke up, I went ahead and did my morning routine. Then I did the um, energy bar tool tape for the fifth time. And what can I possibly say? So I've basically, to build on everything that we've talked about so far, I just want to talk about care. It really comes down to what you care about. We've been talking about the color green and the heart chakra. The color of the heart chakra is green, and green is really the middle point on the rainbow there. It's really the state of balance. And as we balance and we move through our lives by being present in the moment, I guess I can share with you guys the story from The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And the story is that there was a boy that came across this castle, and the owner of the castle said, "Do you want to explore the castle?" He said, "Yes, I would love to see this castle that you have here." He said, "Okay, well, I'm going to give you a spoon." He gave him a spoon. He put some oil in the spoon, and he said, "Okay, go ahead and explore the castle, and make sure you look at all the tapestries and the master gardener, how he created the garden, and the masterpieces of paintings that are all on the walls, the beautiful architecture and everything else." And when he came back, he said, "Okay, well, what did you think?" And uh, and the boy said, "Oh, well, I thought it was amazing." And and then he said, "Well, what happened to the oil in the spoon?" And they looked at the spoon, and the spoon was empty. There was no more oil on the spoon. So he said, "Okay, go back now this time and make sure that you do both." And I think I messed that story up a little bit just on the fly here, but I think you get the idea. The idea is to do both. The idea is to look at everything that there is in life while also keeping um, the oil on the spoon. I think the story really was like, hey, go out there and make sure you don't spill any oil on the spoon. And he came back, and then he asked him, okay, now, what did you think of the gardener, and what did you think of the masterpiece? And he's like, oh, I didn't see any of those things. I was so focused on the oil on the spoon. And then afterwards when he went, okay, well, make sure you look at all those things. And so he went, looked at all those things, and he came back. There was no oil on the spoon. So then he said, okay, now go back and do both. And so, yeah, it's all about doing both. It's all about being present while also paying attention to everything in life and paying attention to your final destination. I want to build a castle, right? But I got to make sure I keep, and you do the same thing. You should do the same thing. So, um, I think that that's very powerful, and coming back to the present moment is very important. Even though we have to also begin with the end in mind and be proactive. I think the Seven Habits of Highly Effective People is a very powerful book, not only for yourself and being independent, but also being interdependent with others. And then even when it comes to how to raise a child and how to be there for them and how a paradigm shift for other people's perspective. You know, being able to be in other people's shoes and see life through their eyes. Because if you can see other people through their eyes, you can really empathize with them more, and you can really create a win-win situation for everybody. So that's what I got to say about that. But yeah, well, how does that even relate to the energy bar tool? I think it all comes back to care and the heart. And I think that when we come back to our energy bar tool and we can look at it and we can give it all of the energy, it's almost like seeing yourself from the third perspective. It's like looking back at yourself, because what you put into the energy bar tool, it also comes back to you. Okay, the energy that you're investing basically in yourself is something that you can also kind of reflect back to yourself, because that's something that Bob is having us do as we do go through the different colors and we shift the colors for the energy bar tool. We kind of let it go a little bit and we kind of stand back a little bit and we look at it. And as we look at the energy bar tool, we can start to feel all this energy that we really put into it. So then you will start to think of like, okay, what kind of energy did I put into the energy bar tool? Was it really clean energy? Was it fully um, uh, present? Was it something that I want reflected back to myself? Okay, maybe, maybe not. Okay, if it's not, then you should maybe make sure that you really focus. And I think that that's what it comes down to. It comes down to focus, and it's like a magnifying glass. It's like a laser beam. Okay, it's like when you go outside and on the hottest day of the year, and you get a piece of paper and you get a magnifying glass, you'll never be able to burn any side of the piece of paper, granted that you keep the magnifying glass moving. Now, as soon as you keep the magnifying glass in one spot, at the perfect spot, you can start to see that sunlight come directly down and focus in, and it can really drill a hole through that paper. Well, it's the same thing with our minds and our attention. As we want to make an impact in life, with our lives, we will never be able to do anything like that without focus. If we just kind of become a jack of all trades and a master of none, and we can do a little bit of everything, we never go deep on anything, then we won't be able to create any patterns for ourselves. And I think that that's really what life is all about. It's about coming here and leaving something behind. Now, even then, what you leave behind is like a snap of the finger on the grand scheme of things. But at least you were here, at least you used your life for something, and you really maximized the potential. And I think that's what really life is all about. And I think a lot of people waste their lives, and on their deathbed, they kind of think back, they think, oh man, what did I do? And I can think that with this energy bar tool, we can really focus ourselves and guide our spaceship through time and space, and we can see that when it's reflected back to us. Okay, so when we put that kind of energy on a micro scale, we know that the uh, the universe is holistic. So as above, so below. So as macro, so the micro. As the micro, so the macro. So in a very micro scale, we can see what is being reflected back to us in our energy bar tool. And that really incentivizes us to focus and to really think about, okay, what kind of life am I building here? And so I think that's very important. I think that's one of the reasons why I started making these videos, is because I want to be able to go back and see. And I also want to help people along their journey. I know there's been very important people in my life that have helped me along in my journey, and I thank them for that. And a lot of that was through YouTube. A lot of that was through the videos that they made that impacted not just myself, but many, many people. And so, if you want to communicate with me, let me know in the comments down below. And until next time, I will see you guys soon. Peace.